Hey y'all. So it must be Wednesday 7:30 or 7:30-ish on a Wednesday night because who you got in front of you, boo-boo? It's Sugar here. And it's the Natalie Sugar Brown Show, where me, Natalie, woman boxer, give y'all the skinny mini itty bitty about women's boxing. It's just a whole different world, right? And I have lived a life. I've done it. I've seen it. I know it. And so this is my platform here. Thank goodness, given to me by my guys at Talk and Fight to talk that talk, right? No sugarcoating here on the Natalie Sugar Brown Show. My loyalty is to the truth, right? And we're going to set some of these broads free because we're going to come on here and always speak the truth. Um, so y'all, tonight's segment or show, it's not a segment, it's a show, right? So tonight's show talks about, or I want to talk about with y'all, you guys, my misfits that chime in, about after the smoke clears. And smoke meaning, smoking it ain't just, smoke, misty haze or whatever it is like that. Smoke don't even come from anything that's really hot, right? Smoke is about beef, right? The smoke clears after some beef goes down. A lot of fights have happened, a lot of tables have turned, and I really want to talk about it because right now it is dead time in women's boxing. I mean, there's stuff going on, but ain't nothing sizzling on the grill, right? That ain't nothing being dropped in that hot grease. Um, Anytime soon coming up, and all the smoke happened pretty much maybe a couple weeks ago. So we want to talk about it, like to hear it go. Okay. um and I think this time I got pictures. My lovely assistant has done me the do, ooh, and talk and providing me some images. Sorry, let me get in this pan about who has been a part of the smoke. um and so first broad here is the and I'm waiting for my misfits to chime in, okay? Like I said, I don't know how long this segment is. Yeah, sometimes we have good nights. Sometimes, I mean, I always have a good night, right? But sometimes we get real chatty in here, right? And then sometimes it ain't as live as it can be, right? But right now, start talking to talk, okay? So, starting off, we're going to talk about this broad right now, this gal, Michaela Meyer, okay? And I'm talking about this broad because um, she's handling she's handling her situation right now, wherein she has lost her titles. She's no longer she's no longer the hot one. She's no longer the queen sitting on the throne. She has lost all of it to Alicia Baumgardner. And it seems as if in her communications and her just language, right? This is something that she's struggling with right now. Okay. Um, I call her the Disney princess, and I it's I do it with a bit of sarcasm, right? Because in that princess world, in that fairy tale Disney world that I tease her about being from and a part of, you know, that the princess always gets her happy ending, and she, someone, a knight in shining armor, something always swoops in and saves the day. But in this case right now, I don't know if in her journey, this is the part of it where, she's going through the forest, and she's lost, and she has to find her way again back to her throne where she was, or, if she turns into a wicked witch, Um, but body language showing me, and not even body, just um you know j- just movements now, is showing me that, because I've been here, um not losing titles or anything like that, but I've been here as a fighter where that last fight really determines where you go and how you go ahead and what you're going to be, right? So I know right now Michaela Meyer is struggling with understanding that she ain't running nothing right now, right? And ain't nobody clamoring for her to have nothing right now. Michael Orr chimes in, "Hey baby, hey Mike, um, saying hi sugar. Hey Mike, thanks for chiming in. So we talking about after the smoke clears, and I'd love to hear your input about what you see these ladies doing after this smoke, so to speak, has cleared, after the beefs have been settled, and now we can say who the winner and the loser of that, the encounter is, right? So this gal right here, I think she still has not wrapped her mind around the fact that just like she was up here, she done fell from grace and she's down here. And she really has to think about what her next move is, because I mean, top ranking them ain't going, like, she can't buy her spot back. She can't buy her spot back right now. In order for her to get somewhere, she's got to make a strong move on that chessboard, meaning she may have to go down, and she may have to go down and find some killers down there, because that's the game that these broads play. Because, right, she never hyped up no killers when she was champ, right? The only killer that may have interested people in her fighting was Bumgardner. But if she had made the climate full of contenders, talking and entertaining others in her realm, she may have had a little bit more longevity in her division right now, right? So pretty much house has been cleaned, okay, and there's nobody else at 132 that, I mean, anybody would want to see her fight, and she would get any big money to fight. So she may have to pick on a killer, like I said, going down, which there are some. But the beautiful thing about that is she'd be treading waters outside of anything she knows, because them smaller broads are either in Asia or down in South America. And you're going to have to go on their porch in order to play. And the thing about Meyer is she no go to nobody porch, right? She don't like taking those risks. So it's going to be interesting how in it's going to be interesting how it plays. Now she can always move up, right? She can move up, and I think now um there would be a there would be some interest in her fighting Katie Taylor, right? But it wouldn't be no hypealicious thing for her to fight Katie Taylor. But now I bring this to the forefront. Michaela Meyer versus Amanda Serrano would be a pretty hot fight. Yeah. So, if either of them, Amanda Serrano got Jake Paul behind her, right? So if he could book a room, book a nice hot spot for the freak to go down, this thing may get interesting again. Same thing with Michaela, right? She can talk to her mans over there at Top Rank and see if he'll buy a room and get the room at a hot spot, and it can go down for her then, and she can make a little bit of money, right, while she's down. But it ain't, the thing about Michaela Meyer is it it ain't up from here. It's gonna be down. It's gonna be down until it's gonna be down for her until there's a breakthrough with her, meaning either she turns into a real villain, right, and she just goes down swinging and starts fighting anybody that she can make the weight against, or she could um, go on a hiatus and wait until things get. She's young enough. She can go on a hiatus and she can do other things and wait until the pot gets start bubbling again. Right. So with this one, that's what I see. Michael Orr comes in and says Baumgardner would be a good fight. We've seen that before, Michael. I hope you're not saying the rematch between Michaela Meyer and Baumgardner would be a good fight, because who's gonna watch that? Who's gonna watch that? It wasn't their beef, and all of everything going like that wasn't heated enough for us to want to stick around and still pick from the residual crumbs of those interchanges, right? Baumgartner says she's moving on to bigger and better things, right? So she's going after that Asian lady, that Asian badass, Choi, and they're going to see what's going on with that. And with the Choi situation, Choi ain't been a name or hasn't been a thing. The Choi is not a thing because um we haven't even been acknowledging Choi's reign, with that belt or with that title. I'm not sure who Choi was defending those against, because they can do what they want over there in Asia, right? But now there's value in this division, and value with now Baumgardner uh opening opening the war ground, and going for Choi. She has all the belts, right? So there's no, she's the one. She's the queen, right? She's the one that can make you a star if she plays her cards right as a champion in this division. She should get loud. She should find interesting, good contenders that challenge her and make her extend herself as a fighter, right? So after the smoke clears, right? So there was beef There's beef with these girls, and there's still beef. I was reading an article the other day where Michaela Meyer said something to the effect of, "Oh, when I heard the score, I knew they were gonna rob me," and I was like, it really made me chuckle. It made me chuckle because it made me chuckle because you, yes, you should really, you Michaela, need to taste what this robbery thing feels like, number one, and you need to know um how your previous contenders or opponents felt when they were getting those robberies, right? So it's like karma with I chuckled because that was karma right there, and she acknowledged that feeling like, oh, I knew they were gonna rob me, and it's like, and nothing you could do about it, baby girl, besides sit there and take it like a big girl, which is what all of us have had to do. So now you're realizing, Michaela, and you're learning that you are you know better than, you know, bigger than the system, and the system ain't like you, just like they ain't never like, the system ain't like none of us, right? The system like its money, okay? And unless you can generate some money for the system, bye bye. We won't be seeing much of you for a while. Um, Now, is there any other lady on our slideshow here about the smoke and the smoke clearing? Oh, okay. So there's Mom Gardner. Okay, so the you know, with the belts and stuff, she's looking good as champ. Okay, she hasn't really done anything. She hasn't done anything new. I'm waiting for her to say some things that'll make us go, oh, okay, you know, and really clamor to 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 see what her moves are. But I guess she's just chilling right now, and sucking up the exposure and all the good opportunities outside of fighting that she's getting right now, which, you know, I'm wishing, I hope she's enjoying it, and wishing her all the best and everything in that, because after a while she's going to have to get busy and make them belts, them people who she got them belts from, she got to get them some money in their pocket, right? She's got to get fighting and put some money on these belts. Otherwise, her time will be ticking really quick and really fast to get out of there. Oh, look, I haven't. Look who came to the party. Ain't been here in a long time. I've been thinking about you. Women's Boxing Channel says Mayor ain't the bomb. She got done to her what she did to her to Hamadouche. Speak on it, baby. Cheated Mayvel out of a W. Fact is between also 135 and 154. First to blink will start the ball rolling as who fights who. I like, listen, you're Women Boxing Channel. You're a person after my own heart. Y'all just give me a second, please. Hey y'all, sorry about that. Had some technical difficulties, but Women's Boxing Channel did chime in talking about, yeah, Mary, she's not the bomb no more, and she's still talking, and it makes her, it gives me sore loser vibes. You know what I'm saying? Which is really cringe. Yeah. I mean, don't go down like that, baby girl. Like, okay, you lost, you got an L. It ain't the worst thing that's ever happened to anybody in boxing, right? It happens. You know, you lose, right? But for you to talk about, oh, she doesn't deserve this, and the person who beat you don't deserve that, and that you won, and you downplaying it, it starts to make you look um sorry, right? And instead of you talking about what you're going to do for the spin back, I'm ready for any opportunities out there for me. Well, guess what? The opportunities out there for you means your ass gonna have to fight, baby girl. You gonna have to fight. You're gonna have to fight to even see uh, in long range where you could go and get another title, because you for damn sure ain't finna get it at 132 no more. Omar Johnson. Hey, Omar chimes in. Everyone leave a like. This woman has crazy knowledge and skin in the game. Yeah, I got some skin in the game. I know what I know, okay? And I like talking about it with you guys. Um, Women's Boxing Channel also mentioned that yes, the facts right now is up there between the 135 weight class and the 154 weight class. Okay, um, it would be very interesting. Just like I mean, I don't know if Mayor has the gonads to make a move like this, but just like Natasha Jonas, who was a 134, or I mean 132 contender, who is now 154 champion. I mean, I would love to see Michaela Meyer pull something off like that, but I just don't think she has the moxie to do that. I hope she I hope she could prove me wrong, right? Because those are the things that make women's boxing interesting, right? Somebody told me this the other day. Sugar, you talk about something that a lot of people don't really check for, which is women's boxing. And you doing, you saying some interesting stuff. You make me want to be interested in it. You make me want to know what's up with it, right? Which is that's all I want. That's all I want. It's not that I'm trying to make this thing. I don't, in facts, and you got to chime in and know this to the, know the schematics and the I's dotting and the T's crossing about all of these broads. No, I don't expect you to do that, right? I want you to just be interested in now how the progression of things are, because now if you're interested, there can be accountability in my industry, which there wasn't before, right? So a fight pretty much previously, that fight between Michaela Meyer and Alicia Baumgartner would have been an all-out robbery for Michaela Meyer. Yeah, right. She had the she was the top ranked gal. She's quote unquote more marketable in our industry, and yeah, it would have been, oh, she would, Baumgartner would have got it done to her real nasty, and then we just keep it going, right? And then you have the phony people, oh, and would be congratulations, good job, it was a close fight, because they love saying that shit. Oh, it was close, it was close, right? Without saying a winner or a loser. Anytime you talk to a boxing person and they talk about it was close, they bullshitting you. Either either someone was you could tell who was winning and who was losing. There's no such thing as a close. It's never close, right? Um, it could have gone one way or the other. Nah, no. Um, you pick one. You pick a winner, you pick a loser, right? And that's how it goes. Um, do I have another image? You guys? Okay, so okay, we have this lady Chantel Cameron. After the smoke clears, you see she got all this hardware now. So, I mean, we talking about, I'm really talking about the losers of these things, right? And my guys at Talk and Fight and every other, all these other platforms tend to focus on the winners. Can you, like, I like Chantel, but do we have the loser of this fight? um do we have an image of the loser? Okay, so this is the loser. Okay, um which is Jessica McCaskill. And at this point, McCaskill has not said anything out there. Hey, she has not put anything out, media wise. Her mouthpiece has been talking for her. I think Ramos has been talking for her. And from what I've seen and read, it's really more about him, right? And it's really more about him and pushing, oh, how he felt about how things went down and the relationship that he has with the other promoters and managers and stuff like that, which has nothing to do really with fight. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing to do with how the fight went down and any of the things that would make us interested in this fighter who has lost all of her, I mean, who has gone down, went down in weight to challenge for a lower uh undisputed lower titles. She went down in weight to do that. I think according to the rules, when you go down in weight to fight, and watch my previous show, Belts and Bodies, when you go down in weight to challenge for another title or titles in lower weights, you vacate or you forego your titles to go down. Okay, so I think that's what has happened. No one is saying anything about the fact that she has lost her belts at 147. But if now there's accountability and I's are being dotted and T's are being crossed, y'all are going to hear me say this a lot. Uh, McCaskill should be a two-time loser, right? She lost going down to 140 pounds, and then she lost all her belts at 147 because of the sacrifice she made. I think she went down there fighting Cameron because she thought, and or Ramos must have talked her into thinking that they actually like her. And they don't like nobody, right? These sanctioning bodies don't like nobody. They like the money. And she wasn't making nobody any money, right? She wasn't making them any money. Um, okay. Women's Boxing Channel comes in with some stuff, and I'm going to bring it back to that Women's Boxing Channel, right? Cedric Sports Training comes in saying, "What up, champ? Keep dropping that knowledge. Thanks for chiming in, Sadie. Thank you for chiming in. We're talking about after the smoke clears. So it's some smoke cleared up with this fighter right here who just lost pretty much all her titles, and then she lost at, her goal at the 140 undisputed belts. Okay, we're talking about that after the smoke clears because they always shine the light on the winners, right? But after the smoke clears, after the beef is done, right, the loser has a life, and the loser has to go on too, right? So in being the loser, my experience, I've lost and it is devastating. It losing can taking that L means you have to acknowledge that, you know either you got beat. You have to acknowledge that if it's a robbery, you have to acknowledge the fact that life ain't fair, and this industry is, this industry is a industry that you may end up not getting that what you thought you was gonna get out of it. Okay. Um, and so this is what these losers or the the fighters who have lost have to face. Do I have any other images, you guys? Do I have any other images? Okay, so here we go. We got the winner, Chantel Cameron. She's got it all. Okay. I hope that she brings some names and brings some other contenders to the 140-pound division. I hope she doesn't go back and recycle old opponents of other, fighters. I hope she don't go into the recycling business. I hope she does pull some killers and extend herself. It's just hoping, right? But this is the game. It's going to be boring if she doesn't. Chantel Cameron can fight. I like her story. I like what she does, but she is not interesting enough to just be Chantel Cameron, the fighter. Chantel Cameron has to start. She got to start, get some more beef going. She got to create her own smoke now, right? I'm not sure. I think there's some contenders out there that she can really go after. There's some down in Australia. There's some South American, so she can really pull some interesting names from her division. Let's hope that she has that mindset to share the wealth and to do that. But I don't see any other super fight. I don't see any big fight um, breeding with Chantel Cameron, because there are really no other names. Now, I'll say this because Women's Boxing Channel, I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna put your girl in the mix. Sandy Ryan would be a pretty good fight, but Sandy Ryan needs some more seasoning. Okay, so so um, Ryan would need to fight some um, some stronger opposition. Okay, Ryan, she's got to talk, right? She's just obnoxious enough for people to want to see her as a problem. Okay, and I hope she uses that now to leverage herself into being a contender, a foe, to being that adversary that Chantel Cameron um has to triumph over, right? Because what is it? It's a story at the end of the day, and we got to love and want to buy your bullshit. Okay, so that's what it is. Um, do we have any more pictures, or are we done with that? Are we done with the images? Okay, I guess we're done with the images, but I wanted to keep going because the one who I wanted to really highlight is once again Natasha Jonas, because Natasha, her spin back and her glow up is real. She is at the center of it all. Okay, she's at 154. So Chantel Cameron, if she want it's anybody who want the smoke can get it, basically. Oh, I'm sorry, she made that move. She made the move where I'm at 154, y'all can get it. Whoever want the smoke can get the smoke, because she's right in the center, and she's got all the belts, even the ringside one, right? She's got the prestige. She made I, I commend her because she made a brave jump, and in believing in herself, and her managers made magic. Her people them made magic in making a path for her to do a spin back, to turn her around from being a 132 gatekeeper to being the 154 undisputed baddest bitch in boxing. Like right now, even, I mean, even talks of her fighting the self-proclaimed Gwat, right? T-Rex is something that rings bells and is interesting, not because it's Clarissa Shields now, but because it's Natasha Jonas. Natasha Jonas turned around and became um, the people's champion of the UK. Her people mentioned that they had her coming into the fight um, saying, I'm sorry, I'm reading my facts, but that she came into the fight saying that is she was an away fighter, right? So when she fought Katie Taylor and them and Harper and stuff, she was I hate caught saying this, but you know, she was the B side. She was the person, she was the person coming in, right? To fight the champion, the queen, or you know, the A side fighter who everyone, you know, it was cheering and knows about. And she flipped it. Her and her people flipped it to where she took it all. She took it all, and now whether you like it or not, she is that gal. She's the broad. Um, Women's Boxing Channel chimes in saying, um, Jonas coach Gallagher said, talks ongoing with various parties. There's a lot of different options we could take. I peeped the same. I peeped the same information that you was on coming out there. So she was. They were saying, you know, there might be chances that Harper versus Jonas might be in the works coming up. Um, they were saying that, you know, Harper versus McCaskill uh, at 147 might come up, but if we playing by the rules, those 147 titles do not belong to McCaskill anymore. So um, I I don't know what that would mean, and if it would be stupid of Natasha Jonas to fight McCaskill for 147 pound titles right now. Why would you go down and fight McCaskill, who don't make no money, in a division that ain't making no money, right? It doesn't make sense business wise. Because we got to think about now, it's women's boxing, right? We're not doing it for the love of it or to fight because to do it. We're doing it for money, right? And so that doesn't make any sense. Fighting Terry Harper at 154 doesn't make any sense, right? Because who is Terry Harper at 154? You know what I'm saying? um they a women's boxing channel says WBO ordered Chantel to fight Christina. I don't know, Christina Mamba. I don't know. Like you putting the at symbols and all of this stuff for these fighters, but I don't know who you mean for WBO ordering Chantel to fight. Right? I don't buy into the ordering of anybody to fight anybody because y'all know what it is. You know, the ordering means they paid for they paid their money. So you gonna have to fight her, right? Because she paid her money. Nobody climbed up and nobody got into contention about anything uh, to fight for a 140-pound belt. Otherwise, I or anybody else interested in women's boxing would know about it. Okay. What Katie Taylor can do is move up to 140 because there's like, I mean, it's getting boring. She's boring as hell. She's getting boring, right? So We would love to see how she fares at 140 pounds. She can do it. If all of these other broads, and we used to do it before, jump from one, move up, right? It's quite easier to move up than go down, right? Uh, but I saw something where Natasha Jonas's camp or Peoples said that the likelihood of Natasha Jonas fighting Terry Harper is a no-go, right? Because they really play, not because of the money, but because they played her real close, meaning play her close, meaning they treated her really nasty when they were supposed to do their fight a while back. And I guess they thought Natasha Jonas wasn't going to be anybody, so they could treat her like shit, right? Which is what they do a lot of the times. When you're brought in as an opponent or B-side or whatever, you really get, unless you pay, have your people that's there, and of course they still treating you bad, but you got your people to fight for you, so you're not treated as shitty as they would. You're treated horribly. And so she shared a little bit, or her manager shared a bit about how badly she was treated um, going into the previous Terry Harper fight, and how they left her to sink or swim to the media when the card fell through, right? So I mean, these are things now that, don't you wish you were a little nicer? Don't you wish? Don't you wish now that you're a little realer? Don't you wish you had that? Don't you wish you knew that your ass would be begging this woman for a fight, right? If you knew that, right? Because you couldn't, y'all people couldn't, it's just impossible, or it's just not, uh, the capability is not there for uh, women to be treated with respect in this game, right? Either we treating the champ like a queen and everybody else like shit, or we treating the champ like a queen and everyone else like shit, right? There's no standard. There's no standard because we encourage it among ourselves, except for me, right? If I ever was in a position to invite a fighter in, to be honest, that fighter got treated better than me. I made sure that fighter got treated well, because I knew what they were risking by coming into my territory, and coming into my game, into a contract with me, right? I knew I was training to hurt them. I knew I was doing all the, focus, and I wanted them to feel like, coming in, like, okay, this is something where I'm still treated with respect, even though I'm gonna end up probably getting hurt or get knocked out or get my ass whooped, right? Ask these ladies, right? No one can say anything about Sugar or her peoples treating anybody that came to fight Sugar like garbage, right? I love and respect my industry too much to treat another female fighter like that, even though some of y'all broads deserve it. Some of y'all do. Y'all are real nasty out there, but I ain't gonna let y'all. I'm different. I'm not going to let y'all drag me down. So I'm here low key tea and shading some of these bras, but it is what it is. Um, so yeah, the Terry Harper versus Jonas might is a strong no go for that, because I guess you just should have been a better person. You should have been a better broad to this queen now, right? Cinderella then turned into the queen. Um, Women's Boxing Channel is saying, Matchroom is saying, Katie Taylor versus the Serranos. Again, Amanda Serrano again at 135, and it will happen April 2023. Oh, that's going to be, you know what it's going to do? It's going to pull their stocks down, that matchup, that rematch. Yeah. Why it's going to pull their stocks down? Because that fight is not going to outdo the Madison Square Garden mega match that they paid to put on, right? That's not going to outdo it. These people in the industry, I really don't know, like they are blessed with money to waste. They're blessed with money to lose, right? Because business wise, who are they talking to? Like, they could even give me a call, please, right? It does not make sense financially for the Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano rematch to happen. Like, it's not gonna, the thrill is over, right? And the styles that were introduced, it's just gonna be the same bullshit a second time, which is good. Like I said, it's gonna bring their stock down, and it's gonna bring the stock for women's boxing back down again too, right? Because no one wants to see a glorified amateur match 2 times, right? Nobody wants to see that bullshit, right? So, yeah, Taylor versus Serrano part 2 at 135. It's a hard pass for me. Yeah, no. I I'm an old lady now. I ain't got that kind of time to would. I ain't got that kind of time to waste. um Women's Boxing Channel says great win for Ryan over Sanchez last weekend. She's number 2 and will defend her international WBC belt one more time and then get a world title shot. What you say? Okay, what I say about that Women's Boxing Channel is right on. Okay? Looks like they're trying to move her in a position to where, they're playing the game, on the board, and then, she's fighting people. Sanchez, I'm not sure, like, I'm not familiar with Sanchez, so she she's going down in South America, and she's fighting these contenders. These South American women fighters, they're not pushovers, but they're more so in it for the money more than anything. So they'll make those agreements to fight, knowing that they're not gonna, they're in it to just put on a show and get paid, right? So Sanchez versus Sandy Ryan, did Sandy Ryan stop Sanchez? Did she stop that fighter? Let me know, Women's Boxing Channel. Um, because, I mean, unless she's doing that, unless she's blazing through these broads, knocking them on their ass, hurting them, no one's going to be interested in Sandy Ryan except for you, Women's Boxing Channel, right? She has a mouth on her, right? She runs her mouth enough for if somebody pays attention, they would want somebody like Chantel Cameron to shut her up. But her as a fighter, her style and the way she operates is not interesting enough for anyone to anticipate her growth or moving up. Women's Boxing Channel says Ryan boogied around both Farias and Sanchez in the last 2 fights. Okay. So she boogied around with them. She ain't slump them. All right. Well, if she impresses you with the boogieing, women's boxing channel, then I mean, okay, I like it. It's keeping you interested, and it's keeping you with a contender to bring to the table to the sugar show to talk about. And I'm not dissing her. I'm not dissing her or putting her down, right? I want to see Sandy get. I want to see Sandy become interesting enough to bring more money into this game, more interest into this game, because that's where I am right now in women's boxing, right? I just want. Because I want people to get interested, because where there's interest, there's opportunity. Okay, and there's opportunity for us all, not just in the ring but outside the ring, right? I got something to talk about. We got something to talk about. Okay, so yeah, I want your girl to climb and climb high, but I want her to be real with how she's climbing. I don't want her to like this I'll pay for the belts and pay my way and all of this bull jive that was happening previously. We got to do away with that, right? And there's some fighters right now cleaning house, and I love it. Um, Women's Boxing Champ Channel also says Farias and Sanchez are two-time two-weight division world champs. Great. And they're Mexican fighters as well, correct? Uh, they're Mexican champions and Mexican fighters where the WBC's headquarters are, right? So, I mean, Farias and Sanchez have done a great job with keeping it warm, right? Because Farias did some things where she's fought some names, and she looked okay in doing that. She kept hold of those belts, and I like the fact that Farias did what she did with those belts, because Farias can fight, right? So you're not going to take those belts from her unless you can fight a little bit. Okay, so that's what I like about that. Sanchez, I have not had the opportunity to do any to really see any footage on that fighter. So I'm gonna have to get back to you on that women's boxing channel. But thank you for adding the value to what your girl Sandy Ryan has done. So she has knocked Farias and Sanchez off their pegs, right? And she's taken their value now, and she's saying, I have beat two world champions who have reigned in two different weight divisions. Okay. I would love to know how she did it and in what fashion she did it, right? Because 140 ain't been hot since Holly Holm been in it. Let's call a thing, right? Chantel Cameron taking the 140 belts is because the block ain't been hot for years now. Okay. And I mean, they have the tournament and stuff where um Callie Rays and some other fighters were holding on to that title, but you see, nobody was really real about that 140 title. No one was trying to hold on to it. I from the move that Callie Rays has made, lets me know that holding that title was not making enough money for the sacrifices of having the title. Let me elaborate on that. Remember, you got to pay every quarter. You got to pay $5,000, something like that, every quarter to hold on to that belt. And you got to be fighting to hold on to that belt. And you got to be fighting people who are, you know, who are going to want to get paid to fight you for those belts, right? So all of these numbers add up in a division where ain't nobody really pressed. Nobody's interested enough to buy, you know, tickets and pay-per-view to watch anybody in that weight class at this point, right? So Callie was like, listen, I'm gonna be I'm gonna be a movie star, and I'm gonna just, I'm gonna just leave this for whoever can afford it, right? Which is what she has done. And now that's why those titles were up for grabs. So it didn't make sense financially. And unless they build a, a landscape of financial opportunities in this 140-pound division, it will continue to be a zombie division that only the people who can pay the bill will survive in, right? Just like 147, right? Cecilia Brækhus paid the bill for damn near uh, uh, what, 15, 20 years. I think she turned pro 2011. So like, I think something like that. So it's been like double digit years that Cecilia Brækhus had been paying for all those belts, right? So they kept her as champion because there was nobody else out there who had enough money to continue to pay them for those belts all those years. So of course she's gonna reign. She's paying her rent. Um, so that's what it is. Women's Boxing Channel chimes in again saying Hearn wants every class to be undisputed. I think Hearn, that's what I'm saying. Like, someone needs to advise him better about women's boxing because it doesn't make sense. Why would you have one woman possess all the belts? Why? How's the money gonna be distributed in the division? Who's gonna get excited over, I have all the belts and I'm fighting you who doesn't have any belts, who doesn't have any value, who doesn't have any claim to fame? Like, that story, that one-sided bullshit is not gonna sell. It's not gonna sell. There needs to be a distribution of titles, right? So at least we're thinking, oh, she got that title, she might be a killer. Let's see this killer versus this killer and rotate them that way. Come on, Eddie Hearn. You could have had another fighter in the same weight division hold another belt in the same, you know what I'm saying? And have them rotate and fight. Y'all are not playing the game properly. It's not making sense financially, right? So each doll baby, it's like I can imagine him in his little chamber or whatever. I have all these women boxers and they all have all the belts. Just like when you was little and I mean, I grew up kind of, I wasn't the kid or the girl that had all the in toys, but I had friends that, what? You got the Barbie house with the Barbie car and Malibu Barbie? Like, you got all the dressings, you got everything that go together. Excuse me, where I was just glad that, I had dark skinned Barbie and she had a couple outfits that I made. You know what I'm saying? It's we'd have fashion. I'm just taking you back to a little bit of my childhood. We'd have fashion shows, and some of my friends who could afford to have the Barbie and have the Barbie clothes and the Barbie shoes would come out in their, their have their Barbies walk out for fashion show, and here come little Sugar or little Natalie. But you weren't going to leave me out. I had dark skinned Barbie, okay, and I had her dress that I made, okay, that my grandmama and my mom helped me. I had the shoes that I made on her feet with my Elmer's glue and the glitter and stuff that I put. You wasn't going to outdo me just because you could afford what they were selling in the stores that Barbie wore and Barbie had. No, okay. I had my own thing. I had the bike that I got from the thrift store that my Barbie could sit on. Yeah, my Barbie had a motorcycle. I don't know where that damn motorcycle came from. It might have been a GI Joe motorcycle or whatever it is, but that's what she was rolling up to the fashion show on. And she was going to strut in her sugar made clothes and shoes, right? I said that, or I made that comparison to say this, right? Just because your gal has all the belts, Eddie Hearn, and all the bells and whistles, right? Doesn't mean that therefore she is the best still, right? And just because now you have a platform and you're making her that an idol, no, right? There are some self-made broads out here. There are some broads out here that maybe they couldn't afford Easy Street, but they are valuable, and you should give one of them a belt to them. You should allow one of them to win one of those belts, or to have and possess one of those belts, right? So Miss Got It Made could fight Miss Made My Way, right? And there can be some substance and value in these matchups now, right? Because how you doing it, Eddie, and how all of these other how they're doing it is boring. They're making women's boxing boring, and we were never boring, right? As soon as you added your little square ass stuff, right, with the bells and whistles to this, now it's getting boring. um Women's Boxing Channel comes in saying Jonas ain't the people's champion at all. Women's Boxing Champion, why would you say that Jonas isn't a people's champion? Please defend that. I would say she is a people's champion. She Natasha Jonas has turned her luck around, right? That's the struggle of the average Joe and Jane. We get up every day. I'm a part of it now too. We clock into our jobs and we hope to get a lick. We hope to catch a lick, right? We go through our ups and downs in our lives, our makeups, our breakups, our divorces, our, our highs and lows, our embarrassments, and all of that stuff. And we try to spin back and we try to glow up, right? She went through all of that as a boxer, right? So I can identify with that. And right now I'm people. And that could be any other peoples that are out here, right? So how is the story or the journey of Natasha Jonas now a people's story? Women's Boxing Channel chimes in saying, no way, KT is. Chantel is. Jonas ain't. So please tell me why Katie Taylor is a people's champion. Tell me what her struggles is as a woman that another woman or any other woman would identify that, right? Because women are peoples, right? And this is women's boxing. Tell me, as a man, how you can identify your sister, your mother, your auntie, the women in your life to Katie Taylor's journey, right? Same thing with Chantel Cameron, right? I mean, I could see Chantel. She's not people's champ material just yet, but I'm feeling her journey because she's no nonsense, and I can identify with a woman like Chantel as a grown woman, and I have my eyes on the prize, and I will do everything it takes to get what I want. Okay, so Chantel is doing everything it takes to get what she wants. Okay, she is working her ass off. She's working hard to do that, right? But aside from, she's had ups and downs in her career, right? As a woman, I'm not sure what her ups and downs are, right? And in that journey, that's the thing about this journey. That's the thing about why we love Clarissa Shields so much, right? Clarissa Shields has given us a window into what her struggles were and her life getting to where she is now. She's even she, like, without sharing too much on social media, she's showing us where the glow up is real for her, right? She has a fiance. They're working together in in the capacity they're doing. I think he's a fitness guy and she's a world champion boxer. Come on now. I mean, that sounds great. That's a people story, and they from the hometown. Um, Women's boxing says no, they ain't. They're Argentinian. Um, Okay, so the two women were Argentinian. Okay. Um, Farias and Sanchez are Argentinian. Okay. South American nonetheless. Okay, where these belts and bodies, that's where the roots are from, right? So I think they've done well in keeping those belts warm for now, a more diverse and international platform to move on to. That's where I was coming from, right? So my apologies, they are not Mexican fighters, they are South American fighters, and I stand corrected. Women's Boxing Channel says, what do you think about racism in boxing? I think it's alive and well in boxing. And it's always been, right? We've all faced it uh, at, at a certain point and in certain degrees, and it's just something that you have to be tactful in playing with, right? You got to know you got to know your crowd, right? So I fought in towns that were racist, and they wanted, they came to see me um because they didn't like my race, right? So they came to see me get beat and beat up, right? But I was thankful for that because they bought a ticket to see that. You see what I'm saying? So that shit didn't hurt my feelings, right? But I knew the climate that I was going into. With regards to that, yeah, you got to know how to play that, right? I have gone into places where, or I've fought in places where it was dangerous for me to be, right? So in me knowing that, I had to know that my team, or the people who are traveling with me, has to have my back, right? There are no new friends, there are no new people. Everyone's accounted for. If anything happened to Sugar, that's somebody's ass in my camp, right? Or in on my team. So I had to be a smart woman in navigating through and with racism in boxing. But yes, it's there live and well. Um, as you get higher, yes, there is prejudice and racism. I think there is more prejudice in boxing because prejudice meaning money, class. Those things determine where you go, who you get to speak to, and how far you get. Okay, and if you're not of a certain class, or if you haven't made it, if you haven't made it to a certain echelon, right, there's going to be a prejudice against you, and it is a glass ceiling. You won't get any higher than where you've gotten. So yes, prejudice and racism is a factor. It exists. You have to play it smart, and that's what I have to say about that. um Women's Boxing Channel comes and says KT's dad got shot by an MTK gunman. That was recently. Come on. Katie Taylor was prevented from fighting in Ireland. You don't know the story. I do know the story. So that's old. That's old. Like that's like me. I mean, I do celebrate it some, at times or whatever, but that's like, speaking of racism and speaking of race, okay, I'm a black person, okay? I don't think about, and I respect and love this woman for what she's done, but I don't think about what you call it, Harriet Tubman every day. I don't identify with Harriet Tubman as often as I should, even though she was a warrior in the movement to what has shaped my life right now. That's just like this Katie Taylor, right? That's just like Fredia Gibbs, who was the first uh, black woman to do a lot of things in women's boxing. We don't think, and Lady Tiger Tramar, right? These are old, their stories are legendary, but we don't think about them every day. And that's a struggle that these new fighters, Fredia Gibbs, Miriam Tiger Tramar, struggle is non-existent. These new broads don't know shit about that struggle, and they don't identify with it, right? So yeah, she was prevented from boxing in Ireland. So that was, not many of us can identify with that. That's number one. Number two, what has she done and what is she doing in life as a woman? You talking about her daddy got shot. Well, it looked like her daddy was out there living that thug life. Let me stop. I'm not even laughing at that. But you know what I'm saying? Daddy got shot. That means that, daddy's rubbing elbows with some real killers. What is Katie doing? Right? She always has this like uncomfortable smile when you see her. Right? When you see Katie Taylor, like, she hasn't even visited a hair salon. Bro, you've made so much money and you still got that greasy little side swipe hold. Come on now. She ain't even glowed up yet. I'm a woman. I'm a woman. I'm a fighter too, and I identify with her struggle. But as a woman, I can't. I'm still waiting. You know what I'm saying? I'm still waiting. Right, Jonas. I can identify with her struggle as a fighter and as a woman. Right? She's been there. She's a mom. She's a single mom. She was married. She got divorced. She had a shitty job at one time, and she had to change up her career goals, and she made it. That's real life woman journeys. So a woman outside of that, a man outside would see his girlfriend with the same struggle spinning back, his wife with the same struggle spinning, ex-wife, sister, mom. Any man would see the females in their life on that same journey. So they can identify, I know a broad like that. Do you think any man out there sitting, well, Sheila can't box. They won't let Sheila box. Damn it. Y'all guys don't care about that. You know, man's caring about that. But they care about the women in their families who are living life and going through struggles. And if they know that there's a female boxing champion out there that has faced those same struggles and has come out a champion, they can even identify that and bring that to her and to motivate. You know, they would probably, any brother, any husband, it would, you know what, won't you take up some boxing classes? Right? I know you have some frustration going through what you're going through, my love, woman in my life. Right? There's a boxing champion that's gone through all of that. And, you know, she's a champ. Won't you take some classes? Learn, right? Learn how to combat that, because she got through it, right? So that's where I'm coming from with the people's champion thing, with Natasha Jonas as a woman. Women's Boxing Channel said, don't laugh at Katie Taylor's dad getting shot. Like I said, I did not laugh at that man getting shot. But here y'all go again. Here you go again, Women's Boxing Channel. You stay in your feelings when it comes to me and you's conversation. He was standing against Danielle Kennan and was a class coach. Geez, you laugh. Hell yeah, I laughed. And what you gonna do about it? Come check me. I laugh at whoever I want to laugh at. That's number one, right? Because listen, Katie Taylor ain't the only person who got a family who done got shot, right? I have an aunt who recently got shot, right? And there were people laughing. I couldn't even get in my feelings about that. Why? Because people could do whatever the fuck they want to do, right? So if I laugh at Katie Taylor's father getting shot, that's my prerogative. I do what I want to do. We're gonna get that straight. So you could keep vibing with Sugar, but you nor anybody else out there gonna tell Sugar how to be Sugar. I do what I want to do. I've bled for it. I've sweated for it. I've done what I need to do to be Sugar. So I laugh at what I want to laugh at. I talk what I want to talk. That's why it's called the Natalie Sugar Brown Show. Hello. Right? Somebody gave me a show and a platform to be my wild self. And I'm gonna be myself. Okay, he was standing up. He had his own reasons for getting shot. Looked like he was involved with some thug activity. That's all I got to say, right? Because Sugar's in the streets too, right? I know who's packing. I know what to do and how to act around people who packing, right? Sugar might be packing at times too, right? We talking about Katie Taylor. What's your homegirl doing though? Why is she the people's champion? Why do I gotta care? What do I identify with her about? Right? Even that my aunt got shot. I don't identify with Katie Taylor's father getting shot. People get shot all the time. Next. Women's boxing channel, disgusting. Listen, I could tell you what's disgusting too, right? You get up in the morning and you look at it in the mirror every day. We can do this, baby. We can do it. What's disgusting is people who don't have emotional intelligence, right? Your feelings is hurt about something that I did. Get over it, right? I didn't laugh at Katie Taylor's father getting shot, but I did laugh. Okay. And you can reel back in the program to see what the context of my laugh is. I Like I said, I do what I want to do and I'm grown, right? Um, if it, if you roll with pigs, you going to get mud on you. That's all I got to say. Women boxing channel says showing your true colors. I hope you see it. I hope you see this toasty, this true color that you see, right? I hope you see it. Look at this true color. Yes, my true colors. You should have seen my true colors from the first episode, right? I'm not trying to be nobody's friend, right? I'm friendly, but I don't need to be your friend, and I don't need to curtail my words from anybody. I speak the truth, right? And I say what I'm saying. Um, Women's boxing channel comes in. Wow, you're sinking fast. Where? Where am I sinking? Where? You still chiming in, baby. Ain't nobody sinking except for you, right? So, and that's the thing too. Like, I can go. It's that time on a Wednesday night. We can go back and forth, baby. I set aside time to do this, but I'm gonna tell you this, right? Um, your feelings and how you get caught up and you get in your feelings about these things in women's boxing and all of that stuff is quite commendable. But to say the least, thank goodness you were never a woman boxer because you couldn't survive. You really couldn't. Huh? You couldn't get through this world and this life as a woman boxer, right? Because these things, people laughing, people saying all of these horrible things in your face, happens in women's boxing. And you've got to smile and you've got to make the best of it. Like I said, even in adversity, right? Even when people are buying tickets to see you get beat up, to get hurt and bloody, you have to revel in the understanding and notion that they bought tickets just to see me do it. Okay? It takes a certain breed to be a woman boxer. That's why I do have respect for all of us. But I'm not going to I don't have charity or brownie points to give to none of these broads because I've seen the good and also the bad and the ugly about this thing, right? And no one gets preferential treatment. Okay? You get kudos for how you come out of the dog situation. You get kudos for how you spin back. You get kudos for how you glow up, right? But I'm not going to give no charity and pat you on the back. No, right? Um, the women who were earlier in the game been through a lot more, a lot worse, and didn't make no money. And a lot of them lost their lives doing this, right? And it's unfortunate that your favorite fighter or Katie Taylor's father got shot, but okay, right? Um, those are the things that happen, and that doesn't make her a people's champ, a woman's champ, because her father got shot. That makes her your champion, and that's good. Um, Trifine Scott says, wow, WBC, chill with the attacks. Nah, let them keep coming, right? Because what I've realized is, there are cyber gangsters. And I'll entertain it, right? If Women's Boxing Channel wants to get froggy in cyberspace, he could always, or she can always jump, right? But we all know when it's here. And when it come to this game, the person with the credentials is sugar. Check my record. So I don't play those games, right? I don't play those games with people who troll and want to be cyber heroes and cyber gangsters and all of that stuff. I don't really play about that. Meaning I don't take it personally. It's something that it's something that it just doesn't it doesn't wake anything up in me. But I'll slice your ass up like a Ginsu knife if you want to step, right? Because just like you got words, Sugar got words too, and I'll talk to you just as nice. Michael Orr says Bobby Messed died uh, in that shooting. Wow, so they talk about so somebody died in the shooting. So that's letting me know that somebody was really rolling with some pigs, right? Who knows what Katie Father's dad was involved in? That still doesn't make her the people's or the woman's champ. Do y'all get that? Right? Bad things happened in that situation. And guess what? I would have even given Katie some kudos if she was around and she was involved and she had anything to do with that situation. But it was her dad, right? And the only reason why anybody would care about it in women's boxing is because he's Katie Taylor's dad. And that's just the reality of the situation, right? People get shot, people die. Like the super center shopping store just got shot up in my neighborhood recently, and I live in an established neighborhood, right? Do y'all know about it? There were people that died and got shot in that. Do y'all know about it? Right? People are getting shot, people are dying, right? I'm not saying that it's it's something that is not unfortunate and it's not something that doesn't hurt, but I'm saying that that's irrelevant to women's boxing, which is what my platform is talking about, right? So Katie Taylor's father getting shot and Bobby Messett getting shot in a situation aside from Katie Taylor that has nothing to do with women's boxing is not relevant to women's boxing. My boxing godfather, Buddy Davis, dying last week, relevant to women's boxing. He was the reason why a lot of women boxers were able to box. He was around. He gave us our first pass books, relevant to women's boxing. He didn't have to. He could have waited it out. He could have gave us the runaround. He didn't. He embraced us. Him and his wife, Buddy and Bo Davis, embraced us and opened the door as much as they could for us to get through and get as far as we could get. under their blessing, relevant to women's boxing. That's it. Okay, so if y'all, I mean, that's the true colors of sugar. That's the thing about sugar. If you, that's the thing about sugar. Either you like sweet or you don't. Either you like sugar or you don't. Some people like more savory. Some people like salty. I'm sugar. Okay, but I'm not going to sugarcoat anything, right? Um, uh, Romelis, what's his name? The Olympian. Um, Goodness, he was a fighter and he got shot in the parking lot at in Vegas. His last name was Romelis or something like that. Okay, the unfortunate things happened when they were talking about how he got shot. You know, people weren't laughing at him, but they were laughing. They laughed because that was the situation. It's like, you know, unfortunately, that's the demise of a lot of boxers who have been up here, right? Because nobody sees the turmoil and no one sees the downslide until something tragic happens to them. That's what happens in women's boxing too, right? But I'm not going to give you, you're not going to be the people's champ because your father got shot because he was tied up in something that had nothing to do with women's boxing. Natasha Jonas gets kudos because she is a woman living her life, going through the ups and downs that women go through, women who are not even fighters go through, and she still became world champion doing it. That's it. Okay, so we're not going to argue about it. And, you know, if I stepped on your toes, um, you'll be all right. You'll live. Um, and much love and respect that going out to you. But unfortunately, you know, you got hurt with that. You got hurt about that. It hurt you, and that's unfortunate. Omar Johnson comes in saying, reminded me of what Cameron said in Paid in Full. Um, Blanks get shot every day, B. Wow. So, I mean, quoting a movie out there, and this is a gangster movie too, Paid in Full. And it's a gangster movie about like um, a real street guy, you know, who came up in New York, Paid in Full. You know, there was, it's a pretty interesting story, right? Y'all should watch it if you have some time. But yeah, like when you come up in an environment like that, I came up in that. Don't let the smooth taste fool you, right? Boxing is an industry. I remember my mom saying Natalie was quiet. She wasn't Natalie, because I can get loud and I will like I I can get gutter with the best of them, right? And my mom said one time, "You were so quiet. You were a quiet, shy young woman, little girl. What happened to her?" And I said, "I ate her." Yeah, I ate her. Meaning, in order for me to have survived through all of the things that I've survived, I had to um I had to I had to turn into a monster just like the other goons and goblins that I was surrounded by. Cuz if I didn't, they would have eaten me up, right? So I ate her. I became the goon and goblin and I ate her, right? And I love I love I love how she nourished me, and I still can go back to that. But I don't regret I don't regret who I become, right? Because there's some hard fought and hard won perspectives and lessons and all of this inside of me that I share with people every day, and I share with you guys every day, right? And I am not going to sugarcoat it, right? Because you only got to, like, you're here, you're born into this world, and you last for what? You can last at least 100 years. Who knows? Like, a lot of us expire before then, and then we're gone, right? I'm not going to waste my time while I'm here making a false narrative. I'm not going to waste my time here pandering for people, or pandering for something that is not real. That's what it is. Okay? I had to shine a light on the situation, right? Katie Taylor's from Bumgarner, like, who else dead against, right? When Clarissa Shields, one of the people in Clarissa Shields' camp went upside somebody else's head, right? They went in on Clarissa Shields, right? It has something to do with women's boxing, because that other coach was disrespecting Clarissa in her hometown, which is a no-no, right? But the situation there showed that shit gets real, right? If your daddy, you the world champion, and your daddy out here rolling with pigs and he got shot, okay. What are you doing? That happened. What are you doing as a woman in women's boxing? What are you doing as a woman? We want to know. You the champ. We want to know. What are you doing? What are you doing for women's boxing? What are you doing for women? What are you doing as a woman? Right? You can't hold all the titles and be known as the best fighter pound for pound, and we don't identify with you. No. And on that note, I'm gonna call it a wrap tonight. Um, I hope that I could, what we spoke about, or what I talked about, can lend some insight on how we look at things, how we look at the smoke, and what happens when the smoke clears, right? Even in this situation, in this exchange between me and Women's Boxing Channel, that's smoke, right? Because this ain't the first time someone has come to me sideways, right? And I've had to check their ass, right? It's happened to me at press conferences where people have gotten disrespectful, and I have to, with tact, right, get in their ass, right? Because what you're not going to do, right, what you're not going to do is paint me how I don't want to be painted, right? If I don't mind being a bad guy, right? But, you know, I can be a bad guy on my own. I don't mean to be, anything else but real, right? So let me be me, right? Don't expect me to sugarcoat shit. Don't expect me to want to pander and befriend nobody. I am friendly and I am respectful, but if you don't have the items on your receipt, I'm not going to put items on your receipt. I'm not going to act like you have items on your receipt that you don't have on your receipt. And that's just it. And many of the people in boxing, women's boxing especially, know this. And that's why we have a mutual respect for each other, because they know at the end of the day, right? Sugar's going to shoot it straight, whether they like what I say or not. And Sugar will always remain tactful and respectful. Michael Orr says, great show, Sugar. Thank you, Michael. But I don't know. Don't say it because you know I got a crush on you. Don't say it because um we got a whole relationship in my imagination, right? We picket fence everything, me and you, Michael. Don't say it because of that. Um, Say it because you love Sugar. Michael Orr says, and good conversation tonight in the live chat. Okay, yeah. So I want to thank my misfits who chimed in. So I want to thank my guys at Talkin Fight. I want to thank Michael Orr for chiming in. I want to thank Women's Boxing Channel for chiming in. I want to thank Omar Johnson for chiming in. I want to thank Cedric Sports Training for chiming in. I want to thank Trifine Scott for chiming in. Okay? Thank you guys. And thank you guys for listening. Those who didn't chime in, thanks for listening and showing up to the Natalie Sugar Brown show. Come on, bring it. Bring it. Okay? Um, like, subscribe, and share this sugar. Okay? Um, just do it. Dave Rutfield says, you out of order laughing at KT's dad. Ooh. Now I'm laughing at Katie Taylor's dad. Did you just chime in? Eddie Barrington says, night, Sugar. Good night, Eddie. Thanks for chiming in. Um, Let me check Dave real quick. So Dave Rutfield, I don't know. I don't know if you're coming in as backup for Women's Boxing Channel. But I don't think you were here the whole time, and you're looking real sad. You looking just as sad as the other one, because nobody laughed at Katie Taylor's father getting shot. But I laugh at what the fuck I want to laugh at, right? So let me make it clear. Let me make this very clear. If I laughed at Katie Taylor's father getting shot, I would say it because I ain't scared of nobody. I ain't scared of you, Dave. I ain't scared of Women's Boxing Channel. I ain't scared of nobody out there, right? Because I got hitters in the streets too. I can laugh at whoever I want to laugh at. So if I indeed laughed at Katie Taylor's father, I would say I'm laughing at bro. I didn't laugh at him getting shot. I laughed at the context that Women's Boxing Channel tried to insert that situation in, right? I laugh because you think that she's the people champion because her father got shot? No, boo boo bear. No, right? The puzzle piece ain't fitting. The the piece ain't fitting. You know what I'm saying? It's not fitting, right? And so, Dave, right? Don't come in, don't be typing and coming in wrong, right? Because this is on record, right? Check your facts, check what happened, right? This is being taped. You can go back and see it, right? Check what happened. And you'll see that that wasn't the context of the laugh. But I laugh at whatever the hell I want to laugh at, even if that was the case. Eddie Barrington, Night Sugar. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna call it a wrap. Um, you guys. Um, and like I said, always check on the women boxing Fridays, where my guys at Talkin Fight feature women boxers who are up and coming, and who are going to be a part of this smoke that we're looking forward to. Okay, so like, subscribe, and share. Share this sugar. Um, and it is what it is. So until next Wednesday, okay, if I don't see you at Women Boxing Fridays, you be safe and take care of yourself. Bye bye.